الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to this series of Hajj program. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad. Amma ba'd. Inshallah we start from where we left last week. Whoever is watching with the intention of learning from this program, inshallah, as I said before, have a notebook and pen with you so that you make an important point. There is a lot of text and explanation, so I will need to go with some speed because of the restriction of time. We left at the manners and sunnahs of the ihram. So I'll take you back a little bit to begin from the issues related to ihram. This is what we are discussing. So the issues related to ihram, as we said last week, are the number one, the ruling about the ihram, then the types of ihram, third is prescribed times and places of ihram, fourth manners and sunnah of ihram, which we were on, and the fifth is prohibitions of ihram. Manners and sunnah of ihram, I won't go back to everything. What we said includes the taking of a bath, which we said that it's a sunnah, it's not wajib. Second is applying the perfume, which is also a sunnah well known from the narrations. Third is a prayer before the ihram, and as we said, this is not something specific to ihram, rather it is a sunnah to pray an obligatory prayer and then enter ihram. And the fourth is the talbiyah, and talbiyah is where we stopped last week. Talbiyah is the meaning of talbiyah is answering, ijabatul da'wa Ibrahim alayhi salam, answer to the call of Ibrahim alayhi salam, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Ibrahim alayhi salam, addin fin nasi bil hajji ya'tuka rijalun wa ala kulli damirin ya'tina min kulli fajjin amiq, that give call to the people of the hajj for the hajj, and Ibrahim alayhi salam gave the call. And this is what is talbiyah. And when we call the talbiyah loud, this is what is called a halla, and this is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. It is a sunnah to start the talbiyah after one boards the transport if one is at the miqat. So you enter the ihram, meaning niyyah, before the miqat or at the miqat, and you start the talbiyah soon after from there. It is reported from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he would start the talbiyah after he would pray at the miqat, then he would enter the ihram, meaning he will make the niyyah, then he would mount his ride, and then he will ride a little bit, settle, and then he will call out for the Hajj and Umrah. As we mentioned that most people would be traveling by air, so they should make their niyyah before the miqat approaches, not wait for the right moment, because crossing the miqat without making niyyah, without entering ihram, is not permissible. What talbiyah one does, what is the call out you give, that depends on the type of the hajj. If it is the hajj tamattu, then you only call out for the umrah, because that's what you will be doing when you reach Makkah first. So you say Allahumma labbaika umrah or labbaika Allahumma umrah. If this is the ifrad hajj, then you say labbaika Allahumma hajjan. If this is Quran, then it includes both hajj and umrah, Allahumma labbaika hajja wa umrah. Then after proclaiming that, then you start the well-known talbiyah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is reported in the narrations, and which is known to every Muslim, whether he has been to Hajj or not. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk. So this is the Hajj, and you have the translation as well. This talbiya is very important, because one thing is that the ruling is that this is a sunnah. It is a discussion among scholars about whether this is wajib or sunnah, but the correct view is that this is a sunnah of the rites of Hajj. It is a sunnah connected with the ihram, but it has a very high reward. And there are a number of narrations from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I will mention a couple of those here, such as the one you are seeing, that there is no Muslim, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he says the talbiya except that the stone, the trees and the fir, everything says the same thing along with that person, till the Prophet ﷺ said that hatta tanqati'u al-ard min ha-huna wa ha-huna, that earth would that all this will be heard from all the earth towards the end, on this side and this side, meaning towards the east and towards the west. This is reported by Ibn Majah and also Tirmidhi. It's also reported from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he said, Jibreel alayhi salam came to me and he ordered me to order my murni ashabi an yarfa'u aswatahum, that he ordered me to order my companion that they should raise their voices with the talbiyah. Okay. Now we look at a few rulings concerning the talbiyah which are important to know. Number one is that it is not for a woman to raise her voice with the talbiyah as it is for the men, because this is due to a more higher and more primary principle that she should not do that. Second, it is a sunnah to say the talbiyah a lot and continuously. Most people, they would say in the beginning a few times, then they will start gossiping and will get busy and do all kind of things, and very scarcely occasionally they would say the talbiyah, but that is not correct. In fact, most time should be spent in doing that, but especially where two things meet, where the day and night meets, when you board a transport, when you get down from a transport, at the end of the obligatory prayer, when you wake up in the morning. So these are the places. This is reported from Jabir radiallahu anhu, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say the talbiyah whenever he would go up, go down, after the obligatory salah, and at the end of the day. So all these are the occasion one should continue doing that. This should continue until you reach Makkah and you enter Masjid al-Haram. For the person who is doing the tamattu hajj and he is going to do the umrah, because of that, he should stop his talbiyah when he reaches in front of the black stone to start the tawaf. Until then, from the time he enters the miqat till he is in front of the black stone, he should continue the talbiyah. For a person who is performing the hajj, it's different. He has to continue until he finishes all the rites of the hajj, Arafah, Muzdalifah, then back to Mina, doing the Rami of the large Jamara on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, on the day of Eid in the morning. When he reaches the Jamratul Aqaba, he stops the talbiyah then. Okay, that's the point he stops. He continues from the time he enters the ihram till he reaches the large Jamara to do the Rami on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. Okay. Next topic is prohibitions during the ihram. This is a very important topic. It has three components: prohibitions which are applicable to both men and women, which means general prohibitions for the men only, and prohibitions which are specific to the women. We'll look at each one of these inshallah one by one. The prohibitions that are applicable to both men and women, there are 7 of those. Number 1 is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah, فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ, that there should be no sexual relations, no sin should be committed, and no jidal, meaning no quarrel or argument. What they translated as dispute unjustly is very appropriate. that if a person has to tell somebody, even if he gets a little bit angry for something that a person is doing haram or unlawful, or something which is munkar, to advise about that, of course one should do that gently. It is something of a responsibility which many people ignore. They think that they should just stay quiet, but that is not the correct thing. There has to be a balance between not indulging into argument unnecessarily and advising people when they are doing something evil. Not committing sin, this includes every kind of thing, every whether that is a statement or action which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not permit, comes under this heading. No rafath, which means no sexual relations. This, the scholars, they said that this should include even the gesture or the sight, and of course we are talking about the lawful sexual relation, not the unlawful. Unlawful is a major haram, and that I'll talk about later inshallah. The second prohibition is that they should not remove any hair, and that includes the hair of the body and the head both. This is a prohibition based on the ayah of Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَحْلِقُوا رُؤُوسَكُمْ, that do not shave your heads. Third is they are not allowed to cut or trim any of their nail. This is because the nail comes under the same ruling as the hair. Fourth is no applying of the perfume. It's forbidden that once a person makes the niyyah, enters the state of ihram, then it is not allowed for him to apply any perfume, whether to the body or the clothes or the food or the oil he puts in the hair. Anything that he does, it is not permissible. They should not hunt. This of course is not applicable for these days, but chasing the game or hunting, this is not permissible. Number 6, that they should not enter into marriage or a marriage proposal for themselves or for anyone else. It is not permissible for a muhrim, the one who is in ihram, that he does these things. And the 7th is that it is not allowed to wear gloves, both for men and women. Of course, for women is specifically mentioned, but this is under the general ruling that the men are also not allowed. The gloves are not allowed. Socks is different. Women are allowed, but the men are not allowed, and we'll see the reason for that. Prohibitions which are specific to men are 2. Number 1 is that they are not allowed to wear they're not allowed to cover their head with like something like a cap or a hood or a turban. However, to shade the oneself using an umbrella or the roof of the car or the roof of the tent, these don't come under the same heading. Even if a person has to carry something because of a necessity on his head, then that doesn't come under the same ruling. The second is that they should not wear any clothes which are sewn in the shape of their body or body parts. This is why the turbans, the caps, the shirt, the trouser, the socks, nothing of these is permissible. So what should they wear? This is because they cannot wear anything sewn. So what should they wear is this, that their garment consists of, what they wear is 3 things. What is called rida, which is the top garment, a sheet wrapped around on the top part of the body. What is called izar, which is a sheet wrapped around at the lower part of the body, and of course the shoes. And this is based on the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he said that a muhrim should enter ihram wearing izar, rida and na'lan, the shoes. So what protects the foot from the earth is the slipper like this, or shoes like this, or the shoes like this, or sandals like this. And of course these are the middle ones are the best one because they are comfortable, they are protective, have good grip, they are waterproof, and you have to make wudu during the Hajj many times. So this is the best footwear. There is a nonsense misconcept that no sewing is allowed. There is no such thing as sewing is forbidden. Rather, what is forbidden is wearing something which is shaped in the body of the body or body parts. So gloves, socks, trousers, shirts, these are the things which are not permitted. Nothing to do with the sewing. Even if somebody joins material with buttons and make it in the shape of the body, then that will not be permissible. Prohibition for the women. Again, there are two prohibitions for the women. That the women, they should not wear niqab. This is because of the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "Wala tantaqibul mar'atul mahrima, wala talbas al-quffazain, which is the gloves. That a woman who enters ihram should not wear the niqab, and she should not wear the gloves." And the issue about that, it is the sunnah for the women when they encounter non-mahram men, that they drop the head cover lower to hide their face from the stranger non-mahram men. If it is difficult, a woman can wear niqab and pay the fidya afterwards. Maybe inshallah I'll discuss this issue later on. And this is based on the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, that she said that when we would come across the riders, we will lower the head cover, and when they will pass by, then we would uncover our faces. These are the main things which I wanted to discuss, although there is a lot of detail behind these, but this program is probably not the place for too much detail. Having entered the ihram, observing all its manners, sunan, and its prohibition, one continues doing the talbiyah until one reaches Makkah to start the rites of the Umrah and the Hajj, and that would be the next issue, that we see how the tawaf is performed. We are approaching a short break now. Inshallah, I'll describe the tawaf after we return from the break. Until then, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. So inshallah, we continue where we left, that having entered Makkah, one approaches to perform the Umrah, or if a person is doing the Hajj of Ifrad or Qiran, then what we call the arrival tawaf, simply tawaf, not the whole Umrah, but just the arrival tawaf, which is called Tawaf al-Qudum. In either case, you go and perform the tawaf, and one should go and clean himself, take a shower, etc., and refresh himself, and then go to do the Umrah. Before we describe the tawaf, I want you to familiarize yourself with this map. This is the map of the Makkah, and the boundary which you are seeing, all this is the boundary of Makkah. This is what makes it a sanctuary. Anything within this boundary is the sanctuary. It's a sacred land. It is sacred by the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he said, this is what is reported by Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the Makkah is a sanctuary. In fact, the Medina is also, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made that also sacred land. So cutting any tree, picking up anything lost item, or chasing the game is not permitted in that area, except of course cutting what is called idqir, which is a kind of grass which people used to use in their houses and in the goldsmith. So the Prophet ﷺ allowed that. It is also very serious, as I said earlier, doing something unlawful in that area, the haram of Makkah, is a major sin, because of the hadith reported from Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that abghadun nasu ila Allah salatha, that the three are the most hated people in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, the one mulhidun fil haram, the one who deviates in the haram, the one who disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does evil action in that precinct. وَمُبْدَقِ سُنَّةَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ فِي الْإِسْلام, the one who seeks the sunnah, tradition of jahiliyyah through Islam, meaning what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made haram, what is haram in Islam, what a person used to do in the jahiliyyah. So he is drinking of wine, he is gambling, he is dealing in interest, he converts that into Islam. So Islamic wine or Islamic riba, Islamic gambling, if a person seeks in this way, twisting the ruling, then this is what is one of those. The third is a muttalib dam imri liyuhriq dama بغير حق يهرق دمه, the one who seeks the blood of a person, shedding the blood of a person without just for sake of shedding the blood. So these three are the most hated, and one of them, of course, mulhidun fil haram, the one who deviates in the sacred boundary of Makkah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Hajj about the one who same person whom Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in his hadith, وَمَنْ يُرِدْ فِيهِ بِالْحَادٍ بِظُلْمٍ نُذِقْهُ مِنْ عَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ, that the one who would deviate, who would be inclined to evil action in there, meaning in Makkah, then we will taste him a painful punishment. So this is the basis of the sacredness of this area. If you see, this is the area where Masjid al-Haram is, exactly where I have marked. You would see that that's where Masjid al-Haram is, and so inshallah you need to remember, and it is in the same kind of orientation. Entering Masjid al-Haram, there is recommendation that one should enter Masjid al-Haram through Bab al-Salam or Bab Bani Sheba, or some people say Bab Umrah if you are performing Umrah. But these are all recommendations. This is Sunnah, it's not obligatory. You can enter any of the doors, but if you are close to these, then it is a Sunnah to, it is preferable to enter from these. Having entered, when you enter the Masjid al-Haram, it is important to enter with putting your right foot in, and also making the dua which is known from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Various words reported from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The collection, one of the collection is what you are seeing here. Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Allahumma aghfir li dunubi wa aftah li abwabi rahmatik. A'udhu billahi al-azim wa biwajhi al-kareem wa sultanihi al-qadim min ash-shaytanir rajim. And that's the translation you would see on the screen. Inshallah, all these supplications are available in one document from my website. So if anybody needs, they can copy from there. Okay, so Masjid al-Haram, I want to give you a little bit of orientation of Masjid al-Haram. This is a very old picture, but it will give you some idea where the structures are. What you are seeing, this corner which I have just now marked, is where Hajr Aswad is. You can see it popping out from there, okay, and goes back. This is the Maqam Ibrahim. You see that coming out from there. And this semicircular wall which you are seeing here, a small wall, this is what is called Hatim. This is important because I'll explain the importance later. Okay, these are the three structures. This thing which you are seeing here is no more there. This is the Zamzam enclosure which used to be there, but they have closed and leveled that. Okay, so inshallah this should be sufficient. What we intend now is to explain the tawaf, and I'll explain all that through the graphics. So it's very important to focus and understand that. The tawaf, when a person enters Masjid al-Haram, the first thing he should do is to approach the Hajr Aswad, stop the talbiyah and start the tawaf. Except if the obligatory prayer is about to begin, or Salatul Janaza is about to start, then these things take precedence. Otherwise, you don't do any sunnah or nafla or tahiyatul masjid. You start the tawaf. This is the important thing to realize. Second is that it is not permissible to push and shove in Masjid al-Haram, especially for approaching the Hajar Aswad. Many foolish people, they think that this is the most important thing they have to do, and even if they have to push and hurt or harm somebody, they would do that. This is not allowed. So arrival tawaf, which is the first tawaf when you perform, when you enter Makkah and you do, this is the arrival tawaf, what we call tawaful qudub. This has two important features in it, which I will show you in a minute. If you are doing the Umrah of the Hajj Tamattu, then this is an obligatory tawaf. Otherwise, it's a non-obligatory tawaf. But in either case, the two significant features are similar. When you do the first tawaf, whether this is a non-obligatory tawaf or an obligatory tawaf, two things are specific to this tawaf, and those two things are: number one is what we call al-ittiba'. Al-ittiba' is uncovering of the right shoulder. Okay. Normally this should be covered, except in the first tawaf, the arrival tawaf. Second is what is called ramal. Ramal is not running, rather ramal is walking at a slightly faster pace, taking short, rapid steps. Okay. Many foolish people, they think that it's running, so they run and they push and hurt other people, and this is not permissible during the Hajj. Okay, now we go to the actual tawaf. This is the Kaaba. This is the tawaf line, though no physical line exists. There used to be a line, but they have removed that. So this is just an arbitrary line for the tawaf, and you can see that the Hajar Aswad is extending from the Hajar Aswad. That's Maqam Ibrahim. That's a person who is a symbolic person who is performing the Hajj. You approach the Hajar Aswad. The first thing you do is that you touch and kiss the Hajar Aswad, saying Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Okay, this is the thing you do if you are close enough to do these things. If you are not close enough to do this thing, so if the ruling about Hajar Aswad is that you touch it, you say the takbir, and you kiss it. Okay. If you are away from Hajar Aswad at a distance that you cannot touch, in that case all you do is point towards the Hajar Aswad and say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Okay, you are starting the tawaf, only point. You point with your hand, you don't kiss your hand. Only an object has to touch the stone. If you have a stick, or if your hand can reach and you are able to touch it, then you kiss it. Okay, you start the tawaf and you go around the Kaaba in this manner. This is the ramal. So the ramal is done only in the first 3 rounds. But I want to explain a couple of features in the round. So this round we would look at in 2-dimensional figure, an aerial view from the roof of the Kaaba. So you can see that one corner this is Rukn Yamani, the left side, the right side is the Hajar Aswad. There is this semicircular wall beside Kaaba which is called Hatim. Okay, what I showed you earlier in the picture. The space between the Hatim and the Kaaba is called Hijr, or sometimes it's called Hijr Ismail, which has no basis. Some people say that Ismail's mother is buried there, which is has no proof or no basis for that. You start the tawaf from the corner of Hajar Aswad. The blue spot represents a person who is doing the tawaf. You go around the Kaaba, except that this tawaf is an invalid tawaf. Okay, because you have gone through the space between the Hijr, the Hatim and the Kaaba. Why this is invalid? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says وَلْيَطَّوَّفُوا بِالْبَيْتِ الْعَتِيقِ, that go round the Kaaba, do the tawaf of the ancient house. And this Kaaba in the present day, this is not the complete ancient house. Rather, ancient house includes the Kaaba and the Hatim both. Because of the less money, they didn't complete the Kaaba on its original foundation. That's why Hatim is the representation of the remaining part. So you have to go outside the Hatim, okay? And you do the tawaf in this manner. This is the proper tawaf. Okay, we go back to the three-dimensional. So you do the tawaf in this manner. During the tawaf, of course, you come across the corner opposite to the corner of Hajar Aswad, what is called Rukn Yamani. Ruling about Rukn Yamani is that you touch it. If you are close enough to it, you touch it. Nothing, no saying, no takbir, no kissing, which many people do that out of their ignorance. Nothing is for the Rukn Yamani. All you do is that you touch if you are close enough to. There is no need to push and go close to it. But if you are there, then you do that. Between the Rukn Yamani and the Hajar Aswad, you make the dua, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. This is what is reported from Abdullah bin Sa'ib. Imam Ahmad recorded this, and this is from the authentic. This is the only place where this specific dua is narrated for during the tawaf. Otherwise, during the tawaf, there is no specific dua for any other spot or occasion. So this is the way you do that. Every time you reach in line with Hajar Aswad, you say Allahu Akbar. Okay. In the beginning, of course, you start with saying Bismillah, but otherwise, every time you will come, in line with the Kaaba, then you say Allahu Akbar, and then you start the second. So in this manner, you do second, and then the third round, and these are the rounds of Ramal. Once you finish the rounds of Ramal, then you start at a slow pace, normal walking rounds. This is the round of normal walking, and you do 4 of these. Okay, I'll make it a little bit speedy because the time is less. Once you complete these 4 rounds, your 7 rounds are complete. So Ramal is only for the first 3 rounds, while Ittiba is for all 7 rounds, uncovering of the shoulder. Once you finish, then you approach Maqam Ibrahim. Maqam Ibrahim is one other thing which you have to realize, that you cover your right shoulder now, because the tawaf is finished, and for the prayer you must cover both the shoulders. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّخَذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. Take the place of Ibrahim as a praying place. So you perform 2 rak'at, reciting Suratul Kafirun, Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun in the first rak'ah, and Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad in the second rak'ah. This is the sunnah. Having performed that, Jabir radiallahu anhu's report, he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went back to the Hajar Aswad and he touched it before he went for the Sa'i to As-Safa. So this is, if you are able to do that, usually the crowd is such that you are not able to do that. But if you are able to do that, you should go back to Hajar Aswad, touch it, and then you leave from there. It is also sunnah to have drink some zamzam after completing the tawaf, and in this way you complete your tawaf. The next step is the description of the sa'i, which will take a bit of time. So inshallah, I think the time is we have only 2-3 minutes left, so I leave it for the next week. I hope that the issues of the tawaf is clear. As I said, that it is a sunnah to drink some zamzam after completing the tawaf. A person can give an interval between the tawaf and the sa'i. They don't have to be strictly connected. If this is the tawaf al-qudum, if a person is performing ifrad or qiran hajj, then and he is not doing the umrah, then it is only tawaf he would perform, and after the tawaf he can relax. But a person who is performing the ifrad or qiran hajj can perform his sa'i of the hajj at this stage. This is something that is important to understand. For the person who is performing the tamattu hajj, he will have to perform the sa'i of the umrah. He will do the sa'i and he will trim his hair, and then he would exit the ihram. But the one who is doing the Qiran or Ifrad Hajj, if he wants, he can do the Sa'i of the Hajj and Umrah at this stage, because he is not going to exit the Ihram. He'll stay in the state of Ihram till he completes all the rites of Hajj. So this is the time that you can, and this is also one of the things that you need to understand, that the rites, manasik of the Hajj can be brought forward in this manner where the Sharia permits. So a person can perform the Sa'i at this time. Then when he performs the Tawaf of the Hajj, Tawaf al-Ziyara or Tawaf al-Ifada, after that he doesn't have to perform the Sa'i again if he does at this stage. How much time do we have? I think 1 minute. Maybe I'll just show you the Sa'i corridor in that time, just to become familiar. This is the Mas'a, which is the Sa'i corridor. This is the ground floor, and this is the upper floor. One thing that we need to know is that there are 2 places in this corridor where there is a green light post, which mark the area between the 2 green light posts, mark the area of Ramal. So Ramal is not only in the Tawaf, but Ramal is also done in the Sa'i, and the Ramal again here is the same, that you walk at a faster pace. Inshallah, we would give more detailed explanation of the Sa'i next week, as we are coming to the end of the program. Sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. Until next week, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج